Everyone, I am so excited today to bring you an inspirational word from Wow Women of Worship. First of all, I wanted to give a big shout out to the organization's founder, and that is none other than Sister Alicia Spruwell. Alicia, I am so godly proud of everything that you're doing to bring inspiration to women all across the nation. But today, I just wanted to bring a short inspirational word, and I wanted to minister from the topic, a blessing born breach. Now, I know that was a mouthful, so let me say it again, a blessing born breach. And just to anchor ourselves on today, I'm coming from Genesis chapter 38 and starting at verse 29. Just a short passage here, and it gives the story of Judah and Tamar. And the word of the Lord reads, actually Genesis 38:28, and it came to pass when she, being Tamar, travailed, that one poured forth out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, this one came out first. Verse 29, and it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterwards came out his brother, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. Okay, so what exactly is a breech birth? A breech birth is any time during the presentation of delivery of a baby, any other part of the body is brought forth before the head. So it could be a shoulder, it could be legs, it could be an arm. And any of you that have had that situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those deliveries are oftentimes much more dangerous, much more complicated, and oftentimes they can put the baby's life in jeopardy, but also the mother as well. And I just wanted to give an inspirational word that there may be someone out there today that as you are bringing forth something for the kingdom of God or bringing forth something in life, you don't have the benefit of having traditional experiences. You don't get the benefit of normal. You may be facing a situation where things aren't lining up in an ideal fashion, just as our sister Tamar was facing. Not only does she have a challenge with conception, as you'll read the story on your own time, she also had a challenge with delivering as well. And she came to a point where she got to the point where she was getting ready to go into labor, and she actually had to cry out to God and say, what is going on? What is this travail that I'm experiencing? And I am imploring all of you, if you're facing a situation like that, please get before the Lord and ask him, what is going on in my life? It may not be a time where you can go to your prayer partner or go to a family member or go to a sister or a brother in church. Get before the Lord and simply ask him to help you interpret what it is that you're carrying. And I found out that when Tamar did that, she got a clear and precise answer. The Lord told her in distinct terms that she was carrying two nations of individuals on the inside of her. And oftentimes that is a complication in and of itself. When we are carrying more than the average person, sometimes God's promises and the desires of our heart are larger than what our expectation is, larger than what we're groomed for. And again, she had to get before the Lord and ask him to give her the interpretation of what it was she was carrying. Do that. If you're facing that kind of situation, make sure you get before the Lord so that you can get the answers that you need. Let's move forward in this inspirational word. And even as I was preparing for this message, I was thinking about a well-known philosopher. He's not a theologian by any stretch of the imagination. His name is Dr. Cornel West. And he described the human condition inside the womb. And I hope this is not too crass for some of our listeners, but he described that situation and that condition as being incubated between urine and feces. I'll say that again. When we're in our mother's womb, we are incubated between urine and feces. The vulnerable position that we're in has us in such close parameters to such toxicity that if we ever came in contact with those elements, we would surely die. But understand that if God could preserve us in that vulnerable state, how much more so is he able to preserve that thing that you're bringing forth? How much more so is he able to preserve and keep and carry to term that dream, that vision, that book, that business, whatever it is that you're bringing forth in this hour? God is able to protect it and to keep it and to cause it to grow and to flourish and to come forth and be a blessing. We're talking about a blessing-born breach. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you're facing a breach circumstance. The thing that you're trying to bring forth is not coming forth in a traditional sense. It's not coming forth in a conventional matter. You're having complications that you might not be able to talk to this one about. Someone over here might not be able to identify with what you're going through. Sometimes we mentioned that a breech birth can mean that a shoulder is coming forth first. When you think about a shoulder, you think about responsibilities and weight, okay? The head hasn't been delivered yet, but the shoulders have. And whenever I think about the head in terms of biblical understanding, I think about comprehension. I think about awareness. I think about comprehension of things. Sometimes God has us in situations where we're shouldering responsibility, but our understanding has not come forth yet. Sometimes God has us involved in a ministry or a relationship, has us on a job position where we don't quite understand what it is that we're doing or why it is that we're doing what we're doing. But yet and still, he has us shouldering the situation. He has us shouldering the responsibility. That could be considered a breech birth. You never know what is on the other side of that situation that you're in. And understand that if you're facing a situation like that right now, don't be discouraged. God is a very capable midwife, and he will bring forth the life. He will bring forth the understanding. He will bring forth all those things that are necessary so that you can flourish at the end of the process. Be encouraged today. And I also wanted to minister to someone. Again, there's a percentage of women who not only have a challenge with conception, they also have a challenge with delivery. You don't get the benefit of normal. There are millions of women out there who are paying the price for conception. I was looking up some stats recently and found out that the in vitro fertilization industry is a $3 to $4 billion industry, and that's billion with a B. So that lets you know that there are some women out there who are paying a high price just to be able to conceive. And I want to encourage somebody, if you feel like you've gone through a season where it just seems like you can't conceive the destiny, the purpose, whatever it is that God has created you for, it just seems like you're having a hard time bringing that to term. Be encouraged. God has not forgotten you. And maybe this word today will encourage you that not only has someone experienced the same thing, there are millions of other women who are experiencing the same thing. But just like Tamar, God was faithful to the seed that he had planted. And understand also that he is committed and faithful to the seed that he's planted in you. Know that God will bring forth and complete the thing that he has started and that he has begun in you. Be encouraged today, and God bless.